So are you ready to begin the house hunting step in the home buying journey? If so, you have to watch this video because I'm going to go over my top things that you need to avoid when you are touring properties. So stay tuned. I got you covered. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, like I said before, we are going to talk about some things you really must avoid doing when you are in that house hunting phase of the home buying process. Things to totally avoid. It makes it a lot easier for you as the buyer. It makes it easier for the agent and the seller. So let's get right into the video. So first up, always schedule your showings. So your agent will schedule your showings through a showing app. We use Showing Time here in the Triad, and this will allow your agent to schedule a showing that is convenient for you. So once the showing request has been made, then the seller will receive like this little notification to let them know that someone wants to see the property. And at that time, the seller can either accept the showing request or maybe even propose a new time. But either way, to preview the homes, you have to go through that Showing Time app, or you can, visit the home during an open house. But one way that you must never preview a home is by going to the property that's listed for sale and walking around the property and even like peeking through the windows. Don't do that. This could be considered trespassing, and that is really a crime. Plus, what a way to turn off the seller by having someone, on their property unannounced. Remember, even though the home is for sale, it still belongs to the seller, and you have to respect their privacy and their property. So my next tip is to always assume that you are on camera. Always. So with gadgets like Ring doorbells and security cameras all throughout the interior and the exterior of the house, anything you say can reach that seller. So every time I take my clients on a showing, I remind them to always assume that they are on camera and to not say anything about the house, good or bad. Just keep it all to yourself. And, we can either take notes as we walk through the house, or when we're out of earshot, we can talk about it then. But by talking about things inside the house, the seller, let's just say, for example, you're walking through the house and you just absolutely love the home and you can envision yourself living in the home. I mean, you just love it. And the sellers hear this, then that kind of knocks down our negotiations because they know that, if we come in with an offer, they know that you really love this house, so you may be willing to pay top dollar for it. So they may not accept our offer. They may want to, increase the offer. So it's just always a good idea to just keep all of your thoughts about the house to yourself until we're outside of earshot. I had a client, I remember this one. I had a client to comment about the decor in a home. My client, made a joke about the furnishings. No big deal, right? Wrong. It was a big deal. The sellers overheard what she said, and then they told their agent, and of course I got an earful from the listing agent about how my clients hurt their clients' feelings, so on and so on and so on. So my advice is to not say anything, about the house, like I said, good or bad, until we're in the car or away from the house. So next, respect the homeowner's privacy. I know we talked about this earlier, but this time we're talking about, things on the inside of the house. So focus on what will stay after the sale, like built-in finishes or appliances that are part of the sale. I've seen buyers doing things like sitting on the seller's furniture. This, again, is a big no-no. Don't do that. Don't sit on their stuff. Even use their bathrooms. Even though the home is for sale, you still have to respect the seller's personal space. So don't sit on the couch. Don't go all through the refrigerator. If the refrigerator is not a part of the sale, don't do that. Don't open up the dressers in the bedroom, because those dressers, if they're not a part of the sale, that's personal property of the seller and you don't need to go through their things. All of that, big no-nos. So tip number 4 is about keeping your group small. So this one is important too. So I know it's tempting to want to bring your friends, your family. everybody, for their opinions, especially if it's your first time purchasing a home. But please try to avoid doing this. A focused, smaller group helps you pay attention to the important details. Trust me, a crowded showing can be distracting rather than helpful. And then you have other people, getting in your ear and getting in your head. Like if you really love this house, but your best friend is like, well, I don't like this house because it's too far away from this place or that place. But you really, really, really love the house, but you let her thoughts kind of get in your head about it being too far from something that's not even important to you. So that's why I always say for showings, bring the decision makers. Like, for example, if you're a first time buyer and you're buying a home and it's just you. So, you can bring your parents or bring your best friend or your significant other, but try to keep that crowd small and people that will support you and help you with your decision. So tip number 5 is to keep your kids with you at all times doing a showing. So if kids are joining, supervision is key. A tour that I've had in High Point comes to mind with this. So the kids were unsupervised. They kind of got away from us and went into one of the kids' rooms and just, kids being kids, playing with stuff. But again, that is a big no-no. Remember, we want to leave the house exactly like we found it. And I have 5 kiddos, so I totally understand. It can be difficult to keep all the kids entertained and keep them together and keep them from not wanting to run around. But this is just a gentle reminder. If you got little ones that are coming on showings, just talk to them about, behavior and expectations, because that really goes a long way. So enough about that. Let's jump on to our next tip, and that is to focus on the structure and not the decor. It's easy to get swayed by a beautifully decorated room, but remember, those decorations usually, won't come with the house. So pay attention to the layout, the condition of the essentials like the HVAC system and the size of the rooms, things like that, the important stuff, not the curtains or, some of the furnishings in the room. So next up is to stay on time for showing. So arriving late or even overstaying your allotted time can really inconvenience the sellers and kind of disrupt their schedule. It's all about respect. So if you are running a little late or if you need more time, all we have to do is just make a quick call to the agent and, to make the necessary changes to the schedule. This will definitely help, if this ends up being the home and you want to make an offer. It's not a good look to, start the offer process, not really taking the seller's time into account. So tip number 8 is all about pets. So I have a cat. I love my little fur baby. But during showings, it's a good idea to leave your furry friends at home if possible. Not everybody is a pet lover. I don't know how, but everybody, is not a pet lover. And you don't want to risk any pet-related incidents during the showing, or even worse, if the seller has pet allergies, this could really be bad. So tip 9 is to always secure the property when you leave. Turn off the lights, lock the doors, and ensure the home is just as secure as it was when you entered. So your agent should, keyword should, check behind everyone, to make sure that all the lights are off and doors are locked, because this shows respect and consideration for the homeowner's property and privacy. And lastly, make sure you leave with everything you brought. It's surprisingly easy to leave a phone or sunglasses or, little things like that behind, which can be a hassle for everybody involved. So do a quick double check before you leave. One time I got a situation. One time I had a showing in Brown Summit, North Carolina, and after the showing, my clients loved the house. They were even going to make an offer on it. Locked up the house, got halfway home. So I was about maybe 20 minutes into my drive home, and I realized I left my cell phone at the showing. Imagine that, leaving my cell phone at the showing. So I could not call the listing agent to tell them that I left my phone so they can let the sellers know that I'm on my way. So I just had to go back to the property, and I was just hoping, please don't let anybody be there. Please don't let the sellers be there. Please don't let there be another showing going on while I get there. But thankfully, when I got there, no one was there. And thankfully, I remembered the code to the lockbox to get in, because all of that information is on my phone. Oh, that could have been a disaster. But I did call the agent afterwards to let him know what was going on, because you never know. I could have been on candid camera. I'm sure I was. And I wanted the sellers to be aware of what was going on, because I'm sure they were watching me like, what is she doing? But anyway. So those are my top 10 tips for home showings here in the Piedmont Triad. Remember, a little courtesy goes a long way in making the home buying process smoother for everybody involved. So if you have any questions or need assistance with your home search, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will leave all of my contact information below. But thanks so much for watching, and please like the video, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments below. You guys take care, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.